Unpacking the Buddha's First Discourse. Episode 8. The Origin of Suffering. First, what do we even mean by unpacking? We can define unpacking as the intense scrutiny of traditional Buddhist and Zen texts. A scrutiny that often breaks down the texts sentence by sentence, phrase by phrase, and occasionally word by word. And why even unpack at all? Because not all of us have the opportunity to regularly engage with a living, breathing, enlightened teacher. Understanding that in the Zen tradition, it's this engagement that substitutes for the critical reading of the traditional texts. And so, for those who don't have the opportunity to regularly engage with a living teacher, there must be a return to the traditional texts as teacher. And with that return is the understanding that the texts are best approached as sequences of riddles, or perhaps as sequences of landmines. And these riddles must be reconciled, these landmines cleared, if we are to truly make progress. Let's continue. Consider the following text excerpted from the Sutta, setting in motion the wheel of the Dhamma. This is the noble truth of the origin of suffering. Thus, bhikkhus, in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of the origin of suffering is to be abandoned. Thus, bhikkhus, in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of the origin of suffering has been abandoned. Thus, bhikkhus, in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. And in aiding in the unpacking of this brief excerpt, we might consider a handful of questions. First, what might the phrase, in regard to things unheard before, suggest about the nature or novelty of the Buddha's realization? Next, the origin of suffering is described as something to be abandoned. Why do you think the Buddha chose this term rather than, say, understood or transcended? Each statement ends with the same phrase, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. Why might this repetition be significant? The three statements describe a progression. Recognizing the truth, understanding it must be abandoned, and finally, having abandoned it. What does this structure tell us about the process of liberation? And finally, how does the description of the origin of suffering in this passage compare to your understanding of what causes suffering in your own experience? And so, we're now into the meat of Buddha's first discourse. More to come.